Hello and welcome back to the channel, guys. And honestly, it's been a minute since I've done an intro like this, back on the grind with Hogwarts Legacy and producing content, and honestly it's been a lot of fun. But today we have, unfortunately, some bad news coming over from the developers Avalanche Software regarding possible DLC for Hogwarts Legacy, as well as PS5 exclusive update has finally rolled out, and more news as to why the commons rooms and the room of requirements is actually an issue from the user's perspective. But before we get into this, once again, the giveaway is back on the channel, and if you guys want to be entered, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and leave a comment on this video. It's that simple. That's all you gotta do, and let's get straight into the video. Alright, so we're gonna be starting off with the bad news, and unfortunately I'm just gonna get straight into the point. Hogwarts Legacy has no plans for future DLC coming over from the devs of Hogwarts Legacy, right? So fans have been hoping for new future content for the game, which may have to amuse themselves with multiple playthroughs with different houses for a while, because the game developers Avalanche DLC ain't coming anytime soon. And the tweet they've put out is basically, we've been really hands down and heads down bringing Hogwarts Legacy to life, said the game director Alan at IGN FanFest. So at the moment there is no current plans for DLC. Now, what does this mean for us, right? Well, it really means that they've put in all their effort into Hogwarts Legacy, making sure that it has a very successful launch, which, to be quite honest, it really does. You know, I'm going to be honest, as a content creator and as a player who's played this game for many hours behind the scenes, it really does, and it has done pretty well. Right, so now let's look at it from the other perspective, right? Can the gamers, right, can the player base and the fan base actually entertain themselves with multiple playthroughs from different houses throughout the story, or is the game gonna feel dry until the DLC comes out? To be quite honest, I think you can definitely entertain yourself, right? You can actually do multiple playthroughs. However, the storyline, although there's different ways to kind of lead, to the end, it's all kind of the same, right? Like, you're not going to have a completely different playthrough as a Hufflepuff versus a Slytherin and vice versa, but in reality you might have different interactions with the students, etc. So it's a bit different, but at the end of the day you're still going to end up with the same result, right? So that's kind of what we've seen here. Now, what does DLC mean for Hogwarts Legacy, and what do these news mean in general? Well, DLC is huge, like I've said before, right? So DLC content in Hogwarts Legacy could honestly make or break the game, right? So the game has already had a very successful launch, and now all it really needs is just some very good DLC content, whether that being Quidditch, which we actually don't know, and it might become a possibility because we've seen in the beginning where the headmaster, Phineas Black, says that Quidditch is cancelled because of a broom accident. So it could honestly come back because it's honestly just cancelled for the year coming. So that could be huge. Let me know what you guys think of this below in the comment section, if you guys think Quidditch is possible or if it's completely out of the question. But on the other hand, we could also have just an expansion onto the story. We can have, for example, a full-on dungeon or a full-on playthrough on the side that you can do as a side quest, which is a pretty big quest. That can also be a thing. So there's just so much more. And of course, everyone is anticipating this as well, a map expansion, right? So I mentioned in my previous video this 15-second rule with Hogwarts Legacy, and if you guys want, basically more information on that, check out my previous video where I talked about it in depth. But to sum it up for you guys that don't really know what it is, basically every 15 seconds something happens in the game, whether that being a character interaction, whether that being an animation, or just an NPC talking, or you finding something within the world. Every 15 seconds something happens. That's the way Hogwarts Legacy is designed. Players looked into this, and once again I credited the person that found this idea in my previous video, so definitely do check it out. But in general, that's what we have. So the map is very crammed, and for a lot of people it feels like there's just so much happening and not much space to explore. Let me know what you guys think of this once again, because I think this is a very good point that many people don't actually bring up. Now, the next point I want to kind of talk about is the PS5 exclusive patch. First update has finally rolled out. As you guys know, PC and Xbox have already been entertained with this patch in the previous week. So what do we have coming up? Honestly, it's just bug fixes, very similar to the PC and Xbox update. So the patch is called 1.000, pretty much, right? And it fixed issues with achievements data being properly pushed to Wizarding World portal after linking, once again very similar to the PC and Xbox, as well as added additional retry connections to WB game servers in the event session expired. And then of course you have very common gameplay changes such as trophies, owl mail, world events, NPC changes, characters, user interface or UI, cinematics, as well as save game updates and bugs. So performance stability was also tackled in this. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I think you guys can kind of dive into it. Everything will be in the description of the video if you guys want to look into it and if you have a PS5. But to be quite honest, I want to kind of talk about this, right? what does this patch update mean for PS5, PC, and Xbox? To be quite honest, this is great news, right? You definitely want to see patch updates and patch notes being rolled out, consistently after a game is released, especially when it has such a massive big release, because when you have a game of this size, there's a lot of people playing, and when you have more players in the game, you have more eyes in the game, meaning bugs are going to be discovered at a very fast rate. So them tackling these bugs very head on, pretty fast is great news, because to be quite honest, it means that they are taking care of all the issues before they become a bigger issue. Meaning pretty much that other games out there, they will actually try to, sweep stuff under the rug and not take care of all these small bugs until they become a bigger problem, and then actually hurt the life and likelihood that the game will actually last for a long period of time. Hogwarts Legacy fortunately does not have this issue, and they've tackled a lot of bugs head on pretty fast. And I'm going to be completely honest, there's going to be a lot of people out there and in the comment section that say this game has a lot of bugs and issues, which believe me is probably the case because it's an open world RPG, right? So you're talking about an open world RPG where you can kind of do whatever you want. So the devs can only explore so much out there when it comes to programming that someone is going to try something they haven't thought of, if that makes sense, right? Like someone is going to try to jump off a broom at a certain distance they haven't, programmed to the game. It's going to mess with the mechanics and there's going to be a bug, right? So that is why you always have more bugs in open world RPGs versus like a strategy card game that's, pretty standard and there's only so much you can do, if that makes sense, right? So to be quite honest, the game is very healthy and the game runs pretty well throughout all the platforms. There's some bugs that need fixing, they're being tackled, and seeing this patch update roll out for PS5 is great news for us. Let me know what system you guys are playing down below in the comment section as well, and once again, that helps you actually enter the giveaway. Be sure you guys subscribe as well. Let's move on to the last point in today's video. And finishing off with a very interesting point that someone has brought up, a Reddit user. Once again, this is something I actually thought about myself, and until I've seen it in the Reddit, being posted, I was like, this makes a lot of sense, and you guys probably agree as well. And it's regarding common room problem, right? So in general, in Hogwarts Legacy, if you guys haven't dove into it too much and haven't made it to the point where you actually unlock your room of requirements, your room of requirements has so much content. I'm gonna be completely honest, right? From the vivarium, from crafting, from moving furniture around, the level of customization and detail is immense, right? So your room of requirements has so much content potential, and there's so much to do. And the common rooms, there is little to none besides just walking around, exploring it, and getting that nostalgic feeling of being Harry Potter, Hermione, or Ron, exploring, the Gryffindor common room for the first time, etc. So besides that nostalgic aspect of it, there isn't really much to do. Yeah, sure, you can interact with certain items, you can twist, the world globe here or there, or eat some food, or drink a drink or something, or maybe even talk to one of the characters there or the students. But there isn't much to do in comparison to the room of requirements. And to be quite honest, the room of requirements at some point, and if you actually think about it and you actually go to it and you explore it for a long period of time, there's a little bit too much to do. So it's a bit overwhelming. So what I would love to see, and what a lot of people would love to see, is some balance between the two. Maybe take some of that content and put it in the common rooms, and there's more content there, and then you're not as overwhelmed when it comes to the room of requirements. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. And if you guys enjoyed this updates, be sure to check out my previous videos as well. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel as well, and comment down below to be entered into the giveaway. I've done this giveaway before and someone has actually won a free copy of Hogwarts Legacy. I'll see exactly what I want to give you guys at 4,000 subscribers, but it's definitely going to be something exciting. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.